What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Party Chat Podcast episode 78. Once again, we've been abandoned by our glorious Geordie overlord, but I have taken over, Slazo running the house once again, which means, as always, I am joined by the amazing Laura. How are you doing, girl?
Hey, I'm good. I didn't really want to wait for you to say hi to me. I was so enthusiastic there.
I know.
I appreciate that you're running the house.
I know, right? And someone's got to keep it up, like, give it a nice spring clean. Now that the clocks have changed and everything.
Wow. I mean, when you hand it back to Squiggy, I hope he appreciates how clean you've left the house. Clearly, there's a virtual house I'm not trying.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. And if you've been missing him, don't worry, he will be back in next week's episode. But in the meantime, what have you been playing in the last week?
I hate it when you ask this. For the sole reason is I'm such a bad person who's busy for games. But luckily for you, yesterday and the day before, once again, I managed to get some time in because social gaming is what I do now. Basically, I replayed Until Dawn with my friend.
Yes.
She picked all the options and everything, and yeah, she ended up with completely different people dying for her than me, and it was kind of interesting. Like, I think I spoke about it last time, but finished that, and she kind of really wants to play it again to see what she could do. Like, she wants to do better, see how it changes. That's cool.
Because I've not played Until Dawn, but I have seen like several interesting think pieces on it since whenever we last properly talked about it.
Yeah.
About how it's kind of like a horror movie, and you can direct your own horror movie in some ways if you treat it like that.
It pretty much is that. You experience, like, how would you cope with in a horror movie? There's lots of generic horror movie situations.
Do you go towards the noise, or do you ignore it?
Yeah,
Ignore.
They force you to go, like, oh, the battery's in the basement, so it forces you to go to the basement, like, that's where the scene is, and then you got to deal with being in the basement, kind of thing. It's like, yeah. I think, to be honest, playing it again did just make me crave a second one. Like, I know the VR one, don't even do that, but you can see so many areas they can improve. Even if they just did Until Dawn 2 and it was a different group of people but the same similar sort of setting or a different sort of horror, it's still a horror movie vibe, stuff like that, that'd be fine. But then you can see them doing that sort of thing, like, but doing, like, you know, a different sort of experience of film, an action film or whatever.
Okay.
Or, you know what I mean? I know decisions aren't as big in action films, you know, do you blow it up, do you not? You blow it up, it's an action film. But, you know, that sort of scenario and drama thing, I mean,
do you shoot this guy? Do you listen to his pleas?
Yeah, I still think that this genre of games can do more.
That would be interesting, kind of like, I don't know so much horror, but kind of like one where you're more in control of, like, the things going bump, and you can choose whether to, like, kill off these people or whether to let them live.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Like, from the jigsaw, like,
that kind of thing, yeah.
Do it from Jigsaw's perspective, and then you have to deal with the comeuppance, and you're like, oh no! That'd be pretty cool, and it'd be different. But I do think that sort of choice action game, so I put it up there with Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Beyond Two Souls? Yeah, and whatever the Dream one that's coming out soon. At some point.
I was going to say Quantic Dream, and then that's the company.
You know what they make?
Yes, I know.
What it is. The detective. I feel like it's such a unappreciated genre in so many ways, and there's so much potential to do more in it. And there's, you know, so I kind of, that's all it made me crave that, you know, more would be done.
Well, yeah,
in them.
Fingers crossed. There's always cool new games in that genre coming out. As for me, when I've not been playing Zelda, like, I finally got to get started on Persona 5. I love it. I love it so much. It's...
Never would have seen that. It would have to have been pretty bad.
I know, but it's also kind of weird some of the ways I love it. Like, so one of the big things we all talked about and hyped up before it came out was, like, menus. And yeah, the menu design is... Like, it's got the best menus in any game ever.
Ever. Not even like, I thought you were going to say Personas, but you're talking...
No, because old Persona games just have fairly standard menus. This one has a really, like, strong individuality aesthetic. Nothing is just, here's a menu archetype. It's all kind of like, it's not hard to navigate, but everything is, like, got style and flair. So, like, when you're in the gun shop buying weapons, they're all kind of dog tags to represent things. Like, lots of kind of use of reverse colour fonts, so white on black and then black on white. It's just, it looks really cool. Like, there you go, kids. If you want to check something out about Persona 5, check out the menus. But no, yeah, even like the gameplay itself, it feels like they've sped things up a bit from Persona 4, so it gets going a lot quicker. And also the fact, so how far did you get in Persona 4 at all?
Second one.
Second one, okay. So, like, the dungeons in Persona 4, you can, as long as you're not playing it badly, you can pretty much blast through most dungeons in a day. You cannot do that in Persona 5. The dungeons are epics. Like, so the first one, I won't spoil anything, but the first one is essentially a giant kind of king's castle thing. And, like, over the different times you go there, like, the first time you go there, you're in the dungeons, kind of trying to save yourself and save your skin. The second time you're more exploring some of the, like, the ground floor. And then when you're finally let loose on it proper, you're going up and, like, going up the towers and the keeps and exploring. And it's, like, really kind of cool how it just keeps going and going. And, like, it's not like it drags out, because there's a lot more variety in the environments than there were in, say, Persona 4, where it was kind of the same design on the floor after floor after floor. Now everything has its own kind of rooms and personalities. And, yeah, it kind of makes it feel like a lot more of an epic struggle in many ways. Like, you can't just blast through it. And as such, you actually have to plan out the time more. Because, again, like Persona 4, it was like, you have 20 days to do it, but you can beat it in one, so who cares? Whereas in this one, it's like, yeah, I've beaten it, but now I have to go out, because I'm only, like, halfway through, and I need to craft lockpicks, and to do that, I can't go into the dungeon for a day. Ooh, hang on. Actually have to manage
insane.
Things. Yeah.
That's like here's the thing, I really wished I got into Persona 4, because then I could justify buying Persona 5, because like I don't buy that many games at the moment, but it just, when I read people, when I hear people talking about it, like you just said, it just sounds so intoxicating. That's the word. I want to be intoxicated like everyone is with Persona 5.
I'd say, personally. So I can't really comment on like overall quality, but I'd say Persona 5 is probably a little more accessible. Like, if you had problems with the battle engine, you're still going to have problems with the battle engine. I will just say that straight up.
I'm not, but I'm out.
It's the same battle engine, although the whole, like, negotiations kind of stuff is cool, although it's not like Undertale levels of negotiations. It's like, here's a shadow with this personality trope. If you've read the tutorial, then tells you exactly what to say in these scenarios, you'll know exactly what to say. Like, you can't really gauge it off your own kind of, oh, well, I guess from their appearance they seem, no, it's more just, it's this type, therefore do this response. But it's still fun. That's something that wasn't in Persona 4, because that was all done by cards and everything. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I like the characters as well. But I always like the characters in Persona. Morgana is really cool, and better than Teddy, in my opinion. But that's because I don't really like perverts, and Teddy's a mild pervert. So... yeah, I highly recommend it if you want a JRPG fix. I highly recommend it if you don't want a JRPG fix. I highly recommend Persona games in general. But, yeah. So that has been good fun. So, in case you are wondering, and have gotten to this like 5-10 minutes in and going, wait, what's this podcast about? Spoilers, we're about video games. And you can check us out every week on YouTube and maybe other places in the future. Who knows? But for now, just YouTube. For now, just YouTube. And who knows if we'll ever get the backlog of episodes uploaded. But you can check out episodes 50 onwards all on the channel. All you have to do is give us a subscribe. So, in today's show, we're going to talk some news. Then we're going to have a look at some of the games coming out over the next week. We're going to plug some cool things coming up. And then for our topic of the week, we're going to talk about Rare to celebrate the fact that Yooka-Laylee is finally coming out this week. But before that, let's start off with the news. And the big one coming out this week is Digital Foundry got invited over to Microsoft's lair to check out the Scorpio. And so we now know a lot more about the tech specs of the Scorpio. Not so much about release or price, but we kind of now know that it is a lot more powerful than the PS4 Pro and any other system currently on the market. So... yeah, if you didn't know, the Scorpio is essentially a mid-gen upgrade, kind of. It's not an all-new system, but it's
pretty powerful.
It's all powerful.
It's pretty a big upgrade.
It is. So
fair, yeah.
to like go through the main tech specs then. So the Xbox Scorpio has 8 custom CPU cores, all clocked at 2.3 GHz, 326 GB per second of memory bandwidth, 1172 MHz GPU with 40 customized compute units, 12 GB of GDDR5 memory. That's kind of impressive, damn. A 1 TB hard drive, a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray disc player, 4K gaming support, and virtual reality support. So, yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a guy who goes, numbers, but... numbers.
Numbers! I'm not a guy that normally listens to the numbers, but my god.
That's... I guess it makes...
They are quite jaw-dropping numbers, they're not just any numbers, it's like...
Yeah, This is pretty much, like, if you're someone who, like, is dead set on graphics, and you've already got a 4K television, this is the system for you. Like, this is a system fully designed to embrace the eras of 4K and virtual reality. So, I mean, for example, there's not going to be any Scorpion exclusives in the traditional sense, but virtual reality games might end up being Scorpio exclusive because of the added power it can do and the fidelity. Although we don't know what headset they're partnering with yet, probably Oculus, but yeah, so if you want VR on Xbox, you're probably going to have to shell out for the Scorpio.
Well, I mean, VR is so interesting, because it's like, it's such a tempting thing, it's like, I don't know, I think it isn't going to be something that people...
I don't think VR will be the next big thing, like, I've said this pretty openly before on the podcast. I am interested to see how much Microsoft are willing to chase it, because, I mean...
It does seem like they're chasing it a bit.
I don't know so much, because they're not doing their own headset.
It's like a half-assed chase, like a brisk jog. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like they want to be involved, but then they don't. They know it's expensive.
They know it, yeah. It's like, how worth it is it really to them? But hey, if it's your thing, then you can indeed get your Scorpio and get your VR support. And, like, furthermore to the whole no exclusives, so it's kind of up to developers. So on PS4 Pro, developers are kind of forced. Oh, if you're going for PS4 Pro, you have to achieve, I think it's 1080p. I don't know if it's 60 FPS you have to achieve, but at least like a smooth, good frame rate. Whereas with developers on Scorpio, they go like, no, it's up to you. If you wanna go for 4K and use the extra power to do 4K, that's fine. If you want to just use the extra power to make sure your game does 1080 60 frames dead smooth, that's also fine as well. So that's kind of cool as well in kind of regards to backwards compatibility. So you'll probably see improved performance. There we go. On stuff like Halo 5.
Nailed it.
So it's weird for me because Scorpio I kind of want, but it's kind of half and half because I don't have 4K. I'm never gonna have a 4K telly.
But then you don't really want to buy another Xbox, and I'm not saying you'll never end up with a 4K telly. I mean, I don't know if you'll never say never, but you don't want to buy another, like, the old Xbox and then be like, oh shit, I've just come into a lot of money and I've buy a 4K telly, my god.
I guess, so a lot of it comes down to price, and we don't know it yet, but Digital Foundry estimated, based on the tech they saw, and comparing it to the PS4 Pro price point, they seem to estimate $499, so £450. What would you think about that?
That's a lot of money to pay on a console. That's what I think about that.
The PS4 Pro, for comparison, is $350.
Yeah, and even then I'm like... Even then, I mean, I think that's what you get is quite good, but at the end of the day, you can buy a laptop with that money.
Buy a laptop for a lot less.
Yeah, exactly as well, but you can also, you know what I mean, you can get a really, really pretty decent one with that sort of rate. Like, I'm just looking at the equivalent to big purchases.
It's
kind of thing. That's a lot, especially if you just use it as a game console. Yeah, but if you're using it as a multimedia device, like it's your Netflix home, it's your WWE, it's your maybe you go VR or whatever. You know what I mean? If it's your whole, when Xbox said it was the all-in-one system.
Yeah.
If you're generally using it like that, like it's your one multimedia, your media system.
I was gonna say,
and it's that high quality.
Because, I mean, like, there's... I don't know, it depends on how much it takes off, but there is a way, like, how the PS2 for a lot of people was their first DVD player, and the PS3 was a lot of people's first Blu-ray player.
And my
Scorpio,
PS4 is basically my Blu-ray player in my room.
Yeah,
so.
the Scorpio could become, like, the UHD Blu-ray player, so the Ultra Blu-ray, essentially, player, for 4K Blu-rays.
Which it would probably be the best value. I'm thinking it from that perspective, then maybe I'm thinking it's going to do well and that price isn't off-putting. But then how many people are at that sort of, I must have that now, do you know what I mean?
Because it's like, it's all of that, and who knows, maybe when they release it they'll bundle in a game, but it was like that compared to something I shared with the two of you, like you and Squiggy the other day, of like, when I was considering Xbox One S, and it was like £300 for a bundle, which had like 6 games and a bunch of other extras. It's like, if you are interested in it as a gaming system, sure, you won't get the extra 4K power and support, but you'll get a hell of a lot of games for the equivalent price. But no,
it is a question of what do you want.
Yeah.
Which I get.
It should be interesting, but hey, the specs are out there now, so people can start making more informed decisions or considering what they're going to do. Still no release date yet, but it's presumably sometime in the end of the year. I'd assume October. That usually seems to be a good time. So that moves us on to one of the other big things that happened this week, out of nowhere. None of us were really aware about this until like this morning. The BAFTAs have happened.
No, we were aware, we just kind of forgot.
Were we?
Okay.
I wasn't. I'm glad you were.
We've spoken about them before. I don't know.
We spoke about them in years past, but I completely honestly did not know they were happening yesterday as we recorded this. So, yes, the 13th British Academy Video Game Awards with a variety of categories. I will blast through these because otherwise we will be here for literally years. The winner for Artistic Achievement was Inside, which I feel yep, that's very fair. It's a very good looking indie game. The Game Innovation went to That Dragon, Cancer. Have you played that? I know you know more about it than me. I don't know if you played it.
Have I played the
That Dragon,
thing?
Cancer, yeah.
Yeah, the one, the weirdest. I have not. I've watched a lot of videos on it. I didn't actually personally play it because I'm very emotional. So I had a feeling I may cry. So I wasn't. But I've seen a lot of it, and that's, you know, it deserves everything it gets.
Fair enough. The winner for Audio Achievement was The Last Guardian. I mean, I own it, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but if the soundtrack is half as good as Ico or Shadow of the Colossus, yep. I completely agree with that one. Especially as, like, I'm looking at the competition, there's not a lot of competition for that one. An interesting one, mobile, then, so this is usually the home, like, where Nintendo get their one win, and technically Nintendo got their one win. Pokemon Go wins the mobile game.
Hell yeah! Oh my god, I have to tell you, I literally walked into a room the other day at uni, and there was 2 people in it, and they were both playing Pokemon Go. I was so spooked out what month it was. I thought I'd time travelled. I was like...
Wait, it's 2016 again. Oh god.
Yeah, pretty much, but yeah, it's just, I mean, it got people...
That's
a lot of people
like,
into it for a while.
In terms of gameplay, sure, it's not like it's up against stuff like Pokemon Gen 7 and Reigns, which are both great games. But in terms of actually getting people playing games and getting people interested in games, yeah, you can't argue Pokemon Go changed the world.
It's influence. I mean, I think people probably can name, if you said someone name me a game from last year, to like just generally and like casual, you know, think, oh yeah, Pokemon Go, and you'll be like, there it is.
So the winner for multiplayer was Overwatch. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it was our game of the year on Retro for last year, so yeah, not Overwatch. Best British game went to Overcooked. So this, if you don't know, this is the kind of Team 17 game, so the guys who made Worms, or the publishers who made Worms, and it's kind of one where you're like I think it's up to 4 people in a kitchen, manically running around this kitchen trying to prepare meals while things are all going wrong and it's all chaotic. And I haven't had a chance to play it, but it looks kind of really cool. And yeah, so I feel that's I feel it deserves it, but at the same time it's also going up, like, some people like look at what it's going up against, like Forza Horizon 3. It beat No Man's Sky, it beat Planet Coaster. Ooh, some tough competition there, but hey, it's a cool game. Any thoughts, Laura?
No, not really. I've got no thoughts on this. You know why.
Fair enough. So one you should have thoughts on though. So winner for like just music instead. So this isn't audio design. So this is more actual soundtrack as opposed to use of music in the game. But the winner for music was Virginia.
Oh. Oh, was it?
Yeah. Now you've played Virginia, Laura.
I have played Virginia. Wow. It's an award-winning game now. Oh, I don't know how to feel about this. Yeah, I remember the music being really cool. I think I may have mentioned it when I actually reviewed it for the site when we had it on. But, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the music stood out enough that I was like, yeah, it's really cool, but I never thought, oh my god, this is going to be award-winning. But then I didn't like the game, so it may have been I was bitter at the game at that point.
Maybe. I mean, it'd be Abzu, Doom, Inside, Last Guardian, and Uncharted 4 for that award, so... maybe. Narrative was won by Inside, everyone's indie darling. That's fair, looking what it went up against, that's pretty fair. So, debut game, now this is an interesting one for me. This was won by Firewatch, meaning it beat out things like Oxenfree, That Dragon Cancer, and The Witness. I think Firewatch is cool. I don't think it's the best game on that list, but I called Witness my game of the year, so...
I'm actually genuinely shocked it beat The Witness. I'm a little...
See,
yeah.
The other thing is, I'm looking
at... That's an upset, is it not?
Witness debut game, and I'm like, it was like, I guess maybe for the company, but he made Braid before that, so... Interesting. So what else?
You leave the business for so long that you get a re-go. It's my debut again, guys. It's my debut.
It's always my debut. It's my first day. Even on my last day, it's my first day. Evolving game went to Rocket League, beating out things like Destiny and Final Fantasy XIV, and surprisingly Hitman. I'm surprised it beat Hitman for that.
Hitman has such a good reputation.
Well, it's kind of also the thing, like, Hitman is a perfectly solid game, but the fact that they keep doing, I think it's these, like, what is it, like, these limited time, like, you have 72 hours or so.
You have orders, kill
this person, and you only get one go at it, so don't F it up. Yeah, so, I mean, Rocket League has still been going, but I don't know if it's, like, it's weird because I don't know what time period they're judging exactly, but it doesn't feel like in the last year Rocket League's done a huge amount.
No, I can't think of anything Rocket League has actually done.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the complete edition got released on retail.
Yes.
That's all I really remember.
Fair enough.
My most recent thing.
So, best original property went to Inside, being Firewatch, Last Guardian, Overwatch, Unravel, Witness. They're all fairly.
Totally the underdog Inside. The underdog story, guys.
I mean, I feel like there's like a pool of indie games you can interchange for these winners, so sure, why not? Best family game went to Overcooked, that we talked about earlier. I'm not that surprised. It didn't really have any competition for this. I mean, like Pokemon Go, it's not really a family game. It's you walk around with your phone game. Ratchet and Clank, that's a single player. They have a different definition of family to what I do. iClan's family is you play with three, all together. So like Lego Star Wars, I would have given to family over Overcooked, but.
I like the idea that someone said that split screen gaming is dead, and I feel it is what gets affected the most to me is family gaming.
Split screen gaming is this thing where like it's gone from being like a standard to now it's like an advertised thing of we have split screen, guys. We support the old days.
Yeah, it's depressing to me. I want to play with people.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. From like when we every couple of months or so, me and a bunch of friends get together around one of our houses and bring all our consoles around and play games and.
At the end of the day, you know what, some people might own an Xbox, some might own a PlayStation, which, I can't play if they're like, miles away or the thing, all that. But you want to be able to, like, if they come and visit you, be like, oh, this is my Xbox, we can actually play a game together.
Yep. So, more of that, please. Performer went to Sissy Jones, who played Delilah in Firewatch. She beat out half of the Uncharted 4 cast. Not joking, she beat Emily Rose, Nolan North, and Troy Baker from Uncharted 4. But hey, like, I've got no problem with that as someone who has not played Uncharted 4. I ain't complaining.
Fair enough. I mean, that's a bit mean of you to rule out all the Uncharted 4 people, but whatever.
I'm so cool. Game design went to Inside. again, I feel this is fair, but Witness is on the list again that you read out, and I argue, well, as I say, interchangeable. And then best game, runners-up were Titanfall 2, Stardew Valley, Overwatch, Inside, and Firewatch. And despite not winning any other award, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End took best game. I mean, you've played it.
I mean, it's really good. I can't deny that. I always find it weird that it loses out in every category, then wins best game. It's always a bit weird. But no, it's a really good game. One of my best solo player experiences in recent memories. So.
I must admit, the only other thing I find intriguing looking at this is that's also the only category Stardew Valley got nominated for that I can see.
Oh. No, it is a weird hard one to fit into the other categories, really.
I guess, but
I mean,
like...
it's not original because it's a farming sim, really.
If you're going to call Ratchet and Clank a family game, I'd call Stardew Valley a family game.
I don't know, if someone touches my farm. Antisocial game, really.
Oh dear. Well, there you have it. There's the BAFTAs for this year. Do you agree? Do you disagree? It doesn't matter. Your opinion's mute. They've won now.
But, I mean, yeah. Can't complain.
Pretty much. Nothing there that I'd count as a major upset. I just would rather Witness win awards, but I'm a fanboy for Witness. Oh dear. So let's move on to some other cool news as well. So one thing I wanted to really highlight is Nier Automata, that seemingly fairly niche kind of game by Yoko Taro, has sold over 1 million copies worldwide.
Well, when is a niche game not a niche game? There's more than 1 million sold.
Because Nier only really managed, like, I think it came out 150 to 200k, and like Automata it was kind of like everyone like was rave reviews and everything, and people like critics were like critics darling. But I don't think anyone really expected it to do amazingly well. So the fact that it's managed to sell 1 million is really awesome to me.
Yeah.
Like it deserves it. It really does deserve it. So I'm happy, and I need to play it soon. But yeah, it's just I think it's just cool to see games that you wouldn't expect to do well actually going, nah, there's a market for us. So moving on, we then have, and speaking of like games that have a market, somehow I don't think this one will sell 1 million. Darksiders War Master Edition is coming out on Wii U. Honestly, yes, really, still getting games.
Don't be hating on my Wii U. I played my Wii U yesterday.
Well, that's adorable.
I'm all about the Wii U Master Race.
That's adorable. So it comes out on the 23rd of May, half a year after it came out on other platforms. The other interesting thing is it's not even like the last Wii U game. I think there's a game coming out. Is it Cars coming out soon in cinemas?
Maybe, I'm not really sure.
I want to say there's another movie tie-in game coming out on the Wii U before it comes to the end of its life. But it's kind of like Breath of the Wild wasn't the end, apparently. There's still 1 or 2 games coming out. So
yeah, that's all right. I mean, most consoles go out like that with the yearly FIFA titles equivalent. You know what I mean?
What are you on about? Wii U hasn't had a yearly FIFA title in years.
But I didn't mean the Wii U. I mean like the PS2.
The PS2 kept going. Yeah. So yeah, that's. I just thought that was kind of like the old girl still chugging along, just. And so we'll move on to something that, speaking of FIFA games, actually. EA Access. So EA decided to reveal some of the games coming to their service over the next month or two. FIFA 17 is coming some point in April to EA Access. Now you see, I'm not used to using the service, so I don't know if this is a common thing. Do they usually come out before the next one does on Access?
Yeah, the other one was on Access before the other one come out.
Okay.
I mean, there's still plenty of time to go though.
I was gonna say because it's still like.
September, October is normally when it comes out.
So almost half a year until the next FIFA game.
Yeah.
Is it just the case of them going, we've got all the sales we're going to get out of it now?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, and then it's also like if they put it on EA Access, they can get money out of Ultimate Team.
Oh, true, yeah.
So you're basically like, oh, cool, we'll give you the game and we'll get you back somehow. We see you there. Cool. Look at the Ultimate Team. And also because it's coming up to the end of the season, I think there's no international tournament, like it's not the Euros or the World Cup this year.
Yeah.
They're also inclined that it's hard to. People, I fancy a football game after watching some football on TV or whatever.
Wrestling? So, what are you talking
about? I know.
Laura?
My mind was on wrestling then. I was like,
we're free of that now. I don't have to ever think about it again. And the other cool news is that will also come to Origin Access, but also coming, I believe it's either April or May. I don't think they've given an exact date for these two. Dragon Age Origins and Medal of Honor Airborne will be going to EA Access. I'm mildly surprised Dragon Age wasn't already on there, but that's really cool. Considering after last week when we were talking about Western RPGs and you were saying Dragon Age is one of your more enjoyed games.
I don't know what to say about that. I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised that's going to EA Access though.
I mean, it's what, like 6 or 7 years old at this point, right?
It is. It's just I'm not surprised like why it's been put on Access. More surprised that I thought that kind of if it was going to be on Access,
it would have been on already.
So it's kind of something I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And hey, maybe that means we'll get Dragon Age 2 on there at some point in the near future as well. Maybe.
Oh, I mean, I think that's wishful thinking. I think everyone likes to deny that. I like it, to be honest, but I think people like to deny it's a thing.
Origin. Oh no, Dragon Age 2.
Two, not Origin. Origins is like the blessed child.
Two is like, obviously I've not played them, so I'll just straight up say that. But I am aware of, like, I've met some people who love 2 and think it did a great job.
Yeah.
I've met some people who really think it like is a massive step backwards from the first one.
You know, the argument that sometimes when they make a game more accessible, that is definitely one that I say was I found personally was more my style to play in terms of combat and stuff.
Okay.
But I think for that reason, it got slated. But I'd already played Origins, so if they wanted to make it if they did that combat style in 1, and then moved me on to 2, it would have been weird. But it's like I got all used to Origins, and then it was like, oh, cool. I think that's where the weirdness of it comes for me.
Okay.
Because, you know what I mean? Like, get me into the series, get me used to your combat system that I don't like, but I'll get used to it because I like the game.
Yeah.
Like, in other aspects of
I
it.
mean, if you're
don't take it away.
If you're gonna experiment, like, that's probably the best point. It was like how, like, I mean, to use a really old example, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 they have some shared themes, but otherwise they're not really anything alike. And it's kind of like, if you're gonna experiment and try and figure out the direction for your franchise, the first few games is probably the best time to do it before you've settled in. Like, now that they've done Inquisition and it's kind of more like Dragon Age 1, isn't it, Inquisition?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that they've kind of settled in on that, like, that's probably what you expect all future Dragon Age games to be, as opposed to anything more like 2.
Pretty much. I mean, but some people would rather like that's why I think people played Inquisition going, oh, I would have liked this from 2 and that from 2.
Can't win them all. Can't please them all. And speaking of people you can't please, that moves us on to our final story and the sad news that Mad Catz are filing for bankruptcy. So for decades they've been known as kind of the guys who make you cheap third-party controllers, so you don't have to spend silly amounts on an official one. The reasons they've essentially gone bankrupt is they kind of bought in heavily to Rock Band 4, to the point where they weren't just making the peripherals, they were kind of like helping ship it around the world and soldering a lot soldering a lot of the external costs. And then, do you remember how big music games were last year, Laura? No, you don't, because they weren't.
It's Just Dance, a music game.
Just Dance has been big for years, but yeah, it never really took off. Like, because you had that and a Guitar Hero games, they were like, yeah, this is the year music games come back. It didn't happen. So yeah, that's probably had a big influence in the fact that they have to file for bankruptcy. To be fair, I'm more sad about it because, so like, you look at the prices of like the official PlayStation 4 and the Switch Joy-Cons, they're really high these days. Like, I'm pretty sure PS4 controllers retail for what, like 50 to 60 quid? Why?
Yeah, something like
that is, like, we talked about split screen earlier.
There's
a barrier to split screen. I have to sell you a finger to get a controller.
And if someone breaks your controller and you just look at them like you've just broken so much kit,
yeah,
they're so expensive.
It's kind of sucky that there won't be like a more cheaper alternative to that. But yeah, I imagine another company will come up to fill the void. But
you'd think so, but then I don't know if they couldn't make it work. Who can? It's kind of.
I guess. But I mean, like, do you have a second controller for any of your current gen systems?
I have 2 controllers for my Xbox One.
Oh wow! Wait, is one of them a 360 controller, or are they both actual?
No, they're both big. I got the one with my Xbox One like package, and then they put a had a game gift card, and they put the Gears of War limited edition one on sale. That was pretty cool, and I thought it'd be cool to have another one.
Okay.
And she's thought I have 2 PlayStation 4 controllers.
All right, you've not helped my example at all.
I have obviously the Wii U pad, and then I have my Wii remote and classic controller. Yeah.
So ignore everything I just said, kids. It's fine. You can easily pick up these controllers.
I mean, no, the Xbox One's going on more sale. The reason why I have 2 PlayStation 1s is simply because when I bought it, I had discount from work.
Okay.
And I thought I might as well get 2 now on launch and do a big purchase now rather than not have a spare controller.
Oh, fair enough.
That sounds really weird, but it's like one of those things that if I don't buy it at launch, I probably end up living on one controller for a while.
I am with you. I mean, the main reason I have 4 GameCube controllers and 2 PS2 controllers is because I walked into Game Station one day and it was like, here's a bargain bin of £1 things, and I saw a GameCube controller on top and was like, I wonder, and rummaged all the way through it and was like, yep, got all £3, got all the extra controllers I need. Oh dear. So that's my price standard for controllers. That just gives that away.
How?
£1. But yeah, so we will move on now because that brings the news section to the end. But hey, if you haven't spent all your money on controllers already, got some good news because we got the releases coming up now. So
and a new controller has been No.
Sorry. But so I've got 3 releases for this week. Starting off with the big one, which comes out. I have to look about. Let me consult the day that we're airing. It came out on Tuesday. There you go. So it came out yesterday. But Yooka-Laylee is finally available after years of the Kickstarter build-up and everything for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, Mac, and Linux. Switch version coming later in the year. If for some reason you don't know what this is and you've never played a Rare game before, it's a 3D platformer where you collect a lot of things. A lot of things.
I mean, if you like Banjo and Kazooie...
Yeah, it's currently Metacriticing around 70, low 70s, so... I've seen some people not be as hot on it as they were on past Rare games, but I feel that's more kind of an influence of it's been 20 years. Kind of expectations have changed a lot now for 3D platformers.
It's not just expectation of that. I think it's also sometimes when you go in with a lot of hype and thing, you're held to a higher standard in some way. I'm not saying that's what's made the scores lower, but sometimes I don't know. People expect a lot from they've waited so long for this game.
Yeah,
there's a certain point you go in and you're like.
I mean, for me, I'm just cool with it because I don't think there's enough 3D platformers in the world nowadays. Ever since kind of shooters took over as the main genre from platformers, and a lot of indie games are have a 2D platform, and I'm like, that's cool, but 3D, please. What
else have you got me?
Pretty much. So yeah, I'm I mean, it was a new story we didn't talk about, for example, but Jak and Daxter's now, the PS2 game's going to the PS4, and I'll probably rebuy the original Jak and Daxter because I love 3D platformers. But yeah, I backed.
You do you, man. You do you.
I do me. I mean, I backed this game, so I get to try it out on Tuesday. I did. I was down for a 3D platformer. That's why, less kind of it's rare and more kind of it's a genre I love and want to play more of.
Is it kind of like how I'm going to risk it for a biscuit if I get any form of Heavy Rain Until Dawn equivalent game by a company? And it might sound like utter donkey bollers, but I'm like, give me choices.
Yeah, maybe so. So yeah, that's coming out on Tuesday. Coming out today for all the PSVR owners, so Squiggy. Starblood Arena. It's a virtual reality pilot combat game, which is entirely online based, so you can either do free-for-all matches, team death matches, or co-op mode, which I think is kind of like Horde, more than anything. Yeah, I don't know the VR, so no interest to me, but hey, Squiggy might buy it, and if you need VR games, here's another one. And this one is published by Sony, so you'd assume some degree of quality.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I can't argue with that. No, sorry, I was just really thinking about that one. I mean, that's what you're basically buying it off, is a little bit of trust there.
Yeah.
An intellectual sort of game, you're like, oh, well, they're going to deliver. There's not really much. I mean, it's not as big, high profile as Yooka-Laylee. Yooka-Laylee. But it's still, it has the audience. I expect it to do all right.
Yep. Yeah. I hope it does okay. We'll see. there were no reviews for it when I was looking for that kind of thing, so no idea how good it actually is yet. But hey man, everyone needs new VR games, especially if you spent 400 quid on that thing. And that moves us on to the other release of this week, coming out tomorrow on Thursday. So for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, you can now pick up Stardew Valley Collector's Edition, so a physical copy of Stardew Valley. This comes bundled with
Sorry.
This comes bundled with a Pelican Town map, a little mini guidebook, and soundtrack. I don't know if it's a CD or if it's digital download for the entire thing. This game has done very well for itself, like the spiritual successor to Harvest Moon. Metacritic is in the high 80s. If you haven't played it already for whatever reason, or if you really, really want a physical copy, this is your chance. I mean, it's on Amazon, it was under 20 quid, so presumably 20 quid when you walk into a shop. I think I always love these whole like indie games coming out physically, because I think it's kind of like a badge of honour in many ways of you've made it. So yeah, would you consider buying a physical copy of Stardew Valley? I know you quite enjoyed the game.
I always look at it when it's on the Xbox on digital, as I have it on PC and I'd love it on the Xbox or PlayStation 4, you know, because it's more accessible to me. Runs better. Not because it runs poorly on PC, it's just because my PC shit before anyone was like, ah! But yeah, I would be open to buying a physical copy. I mean, I like my games. I do still prefer physical games, especially if you can get them cheaper. Yeah, I'm kind of happy I have options.
I still need to play it. I got it in like a Humble Bundle a month or two ago, and I still haven't got around to playing it. It's too many games, man. Too many games. And I'm getting Yooka-Laylee from this week, so Christ, I'll never be finished. But yeah, that wraps up the releases for this week. So we'll move us on neatly into the plugs. I'm going to assume Laura's got nothing.
I have my spirit.
There you go.
I like to plug it. Let's hear it.
If you want to watch Laura's spirit, you're weird.
Oh, my spirit! someone attacked my spirit there with his sarcastic comment.
Lovely,
sorry.
Lovely, and you can watch more of Laura's spirit on Futurama. So, in terms of me, like most recently, you saw Saturday Morning Switch, the 13th episode, which was focusing on all the Nindies that are coming out over the next year or so. So they did their little showcase a few weeks ago, and I never really had a chance to talk about it because I've been focusing on other things. So yeah, if you want to know about like the 50 plus indie games coming to the Switch eShop in the next year or so, check it out. If you want my personal recommendations, I think Wargroove is going to be amazing as the spiritual successor to Advance Wars. Unbox is cool, but I'm totally biased because a friend of mine worked on it.
Huh. Shout out to Slazo's friend.
Pretty much. If you're watching Chris, you're amazing. And yeah, like those are two of like my highlights. But if you watch the video, there's quite a few games that I didn't really know of until I was researching them, and I was like, this sounds pretty cool. The only other thing we don't really cover on terms of eShop is Virtual Console, but we don't know anything about Virtual Console yet, so who knows? So yeah, that's coming up. If you want to know what Scree's doing, tune in next week when he'll be back. And he'll tell you all about his years in WrestleMania and going to see 4 Disney parks in one day. I don't even know how you pulled that off. Anyway.
With great difficulty.
So we'll move on kind of then to the topic of the week. So we've already talked about a bit how Yooka-Laylee is coming out and kind of the rare revival as they always advertised it. So
I think every game's the rare revival. I feel like until it's like actually revived, every game is this.
I mean, considering it was made by like several of the rare stuff, I feel they had more of a claim to it.
I know. I always used to feel like every time there was a new rare game, it was like, this is it, guys. This is it, guys. It's happening.
But yeah, so I thought, why not talk about Rareware for like all they've accomplished? So they became if for some reason you don't know who Rare is, they started off their life kind of just making a lot of like random crap, in all honesty, for like old consoles. But it was around the time like when Nintendo bought them out that they really started coming into their own. If you've had a chance to play Rare Replay, you'll know a lot of Rare's good output. So I thought, yeah, let's talk about Rare games. So
let's talk about Rare games. Yeah.
So let's talk about, I don't even know if you played this one, Laura, the first one that kind of brought them to public notice. Battletoads.
I know of it. I really wanted the shirt that Phil Spencer wore at E3, even though I hadn't played Battletoads. but I haven't actually played it, in all honesty. But it's always just like I've been curious.
It's
about.
in Rare Replay, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Why have you not played it?
I'm sorry. I just haven't.
If you've not played Battletoads, it's phenomenally difficult and phenomenally frustrating, and it's kind of like the foot. But it's got a real charm to it, kind of like from the music and the visuals, and I mean, if you get good, it's more fun. But
I feel like any game is more fun if you get good.
It's more fun to watch other people play it more than anything. Like I've seen like 4 people like racing through Battletoads, and that took them like 5 hours, and this was with infinite lives. It's an experience, but it's something I do recommend everyone like checks out, even if you give up after 10 minutes and go, I've had enough of this game. But yeah, so like moving on from there, like some more of their like cool stuff. So for example, they're kind of want some of the people who brought Donkey Kong more to prominence. First by doing the Donkey Kong Country.
I mean,
go on.
He's the first leader of the DK crew. No.
You know the rap, you know him too. I can't remember, it's been years.
He's DK, Donkey Kong, he's the leader of the pack. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail, etc.
Yep. Oh, I thought we were going to have a complete rendition then.
I didn't want to do it. I feel like I did enough.
But yeah, so they're kind of the guys who really kind of made like Donkey Kong from just, he's a guy Nintendo have too. Holy shit, he has great games. They made the 3 Donkey Kong Country games, and then on the... Yep. Sorry. Which are all kind of really good fun, like classic 2D platformers. And then when people went, well, you can't do better than that, can't they? So Donkey Kong 64, kind of one of many amazing 3D platformers on the N64. And then Diddy Kong Racing. No, I've not played Diddy Kong Racing, Laura, so this one's over to you.
Popping for Diddy Kong Racing. Right, here's the thing. Mario Kart 64, also loved it, don't get me wrong. And I don't know why I needed 2 kart games in my life, but I really did. So, on Nintendo 64, I tell you why Diddy Kong Racing, I thought the battle mode was way better. Everything, like there was like an ice level where it was multiple layers, and there's like a central bit where everyone meets. So basically you're trying to hunt for people and fire your weapons at them, but you're going different ways, and it was like, and you know, accidentally drive around the corner and bump into your friend. You know what I mean? Even though it's split screen, you're not looking at it. But it was so chaotic, fast and fun, and it's like the racing was good as well, don't get me wrong, but the battle mode, I kind of made me play it maybe a little bit more than Mario Kart at times. Maybe overall, I'm not sure, I didn't keep check. But it was an amazing kart game, so colourful, so full of life, and probably everything Rare's associated with. So
yeah, it's like. I don't say it's not my biggest Rare regret that I've not played it, but it is one of them. Like I never got into Diddy Kong Racing, like either on this one or I think when they did it on the DS or something. And like I really should. One of these days I really should, but it's really hard trying to get a hold of it. Trying to get hold of it legally. Yeah, I do want to check it out. So then, like, besides that, I mean, I don't think either of us have played it, but they did Killer Instinct, which is an interesting fighting series that was good enough to be brought back a few years ago. Did you play Killer Instinct at all?
Killer Instinct. No, I just remember when it got released on Xbox One, everyone got hyped.
Yeah.
Like obviously not the original one, but yeah, but I'm not really into fighting games, so it never really came across my radar.
That's fair. It's just more an example of like how Rare could turn their hand to like pretty much any genre. Like, I mean, already we've talked about racing, 2D platformer, 3D platformer, action, fighter. And, of course, they also made a shooter, and not just any shooter, one of the most famous shooting games of all time in GoldenEye 007. I did play this as a child.
No, that's Emmerdale. I did Emmerdale instead. My bad. It wasn't Emmerdale the game. It was an amazing game.
It was. I really enjoyed playing this in my play. Like, it took me a while to get my head around it because it wouldn't be until the 360 where I actually started playing shooters. So this was like a rarity for me. But I did enjoy like playing this with friends and going around and just crawling through air vents, hiding in toilet cubicles.
I love it. Jumping down from the vent into said toilet cubicle.
Yep.
Oh.
It was a cool game. And then just like
golden gun modes, so everyone's terrified and jumpy.
And I think you could. I can't remember if you could drag bodies or not, but I swear I remember like having a pile of bodies in the ice on the snow level, just because why not? But yeah, that was like, and I mean, the legacy of that game has gone on to become like one of the greatest multiplayer shooters of all time. Is still respected to this day. So that's kind of cool. However, it's not the only shooting game they did. You've had more experience with this one, Perfect Dark.
Yeah, I didn't love it as much as GoldenEye, but you know how I mean, GoldenEye was so good, but I really loved it so much so that I remember playing it and enjoyed it a lot. And then when the Xbox 360 launched and Perfect Dark Zero was a thing,
yeah,
I got that, and then I played that, and it wasn't as good. Sold it, and then it was really one of those games you get really cheap and ended up with it again and liked it, but. I don't know. It's a good. I feel they could have done more. I feel like that's still a series that if they brought back, I'd be like all eyes on it.
I've never really like. So obviously I know a lot about GoldenEye 07 because I played it, but I never like Perfect Dark was always just one that was on the periphery. Kind of like, how is it different
feel like
in like?
It's not really that different. I mean, it's nice having a female lead for once.
True.
In that sort of game, don't get me wrong. I'm not disrespecting Lara Croft or whatever, but like a shooter game like Joanna Dark was pretty cool to be a female. It's not as different. I mean, it's probably just as maybe a little bit stealthier, not a lot, but
Okay.
I mean, let me be clear. When I say I kind of feel they could do more with the series, it's not necessarily because there's not loads of equivalents out there and there's not other game series. You know what I mean? That have come along because it is a very saturated genre.
Yeah.
That it was in, but Joanna Dark was kind of still a bit iconic to me as a video game character, and I feel like there's something you could have built on. And I don't know. I just feel this.
No, I understand that. Like, it would, like, for a lot of rare games, it would be nice if they like had built on some of the legacy here, but they always had this tendency to do like, now we're moving on to the next thing, which is kind of cool. Continuing with the N64 games, they made my biggest regret of not being able to own it, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I remember seeing this in adverts and thinking this looks amazing, but I was a kid and couldn't afford 50 to 60 quid to pay for this kind of game. Which is, did you get to play Conkers at all?
I've played it. I like it.
I already.
I have a hoodie. I have a hoodie with Conker's face on.
Oh my god, I hate you. Like, I would. That would be cool. I mean, there was also like when I was at Animex last year. Like, we had one of the rare team there, and she had a Conker's Bad Fur Day shirt, and it looked amazing. And I was like, I want.
They have a shirt as well. Was it a big? Was it a big picture? Was it what?
It's kind of his. I think it's his face, and there's like nuts and something all like.
Yeah, I may have a similar shirt. I also have a Banjo and Kazooie shirt. I just realised. I also have a Viva Pinata shirt. I've just realised I have a few rare shirts.
Have you just like gone to Rare's store or something and bought?
No, insert coins tea or whatever that they do the rare. But I also won a competition from Rare, and I have a set of rare pin badges. Forgot about that, including a Battletoads pin badge.
So there you go, Laura O'Leary.
I forgot all about that. Well, I'm a Rare mark. I didn't realise. I've just dawned on me.
But yeah,
I'm like, oh.
I mean, I made the joke about it on the site. You can't see it anymore, but like, I made a joke of like the first game I'm going to play on my Xbox One is Conker's Bad Fur Day, because yes, I will pay several £100s for the right to play that damn game. But of course, you're probably screaming at the screen, but you've missed the obvious N64 one. So arguably the game Rare became most famous for, Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. I didn't play them at the time. I played them on the Xbox 360, but I can see why people love them. They are really, really kind of fun platformers. And great music as well. Like, I can't remember the guy's name, but he did a lot of music for Rare, and this is kind of probably his best work, I feel, in Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. Did you play them at the time, or was it later you played them?
What, Banjo and Kazooie specific, yes. And Tooie, including Tooie.
Yes.
Tooie. Banjo and Kazooie I played as a kid on Nintendo 64 and loved it. I'm pretty sure I didn't play Banjo and Tooie till later in life.
Okay.
I think that's because it was so expensive, and I'm gonna be honest, I was, collecting all the bloody jigsaws, took so long. I feel like I was still playing Banjo and Kazooie way long. You'd be like, oh Lord, you should have finished it by then, but somehow I just got distracted. I kind of just liked all the noises Banjo and Kazooie made and stuff like that. I was a kid. I was young.
Games lasted this longer back then.
Yeah, I was kind of digging it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, so some people think it's cheesy, but I love Grunty and her rhyming. I think it's really... In fact, no, it's not just Grundy, isn't it? Pretty much everyone rhymes in that universe, if I remember.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what makes it so endearing and
yeah, that's the thing. Some people be like, oh, that's really cheesy. I'm like, no, because if everyone's doing it, it makes perfect sense. It just really kind of fits into the whole way the universe is. Like, half of it never really... it sort of takes itself seriously, but at the same time sort of doesn't, and I really enjoy that. And the fact that you have, I think it's Kazooie just sassing out Banjo half the time. I really enjoy it. And of course, later on, we then get Nuts and Bolts. Now, I know a lot of people got annoyed at this because it wasn't a traditional Banjo game. As someone who always thought the Lego games where you built kind of your own vehicles and stuff was cool, I thought Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was great fun. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I'm not one of the Nut and Bolt haters.
Okay.
I did not finish it, which is never a good sign. Sometimes that's on me. Sometimes it is on the game. The game did lose my interest, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, because Banjo-Kazooie was so well regarded, you added a lot of time that passed, a lot of nostalgia. I thought it had an impossible task, and I thought, I don't know, it's hard to say that I fully approve of Nuts and Bolts, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't get any enjoyment from it, but it wasn't the same level.
Would you have preferred it was, so say, Yooka-Laylee Nuts and Bolts, for example, as opposed to Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, I think that would have been fair. I feel that was a cool idea for a game. They tried some good things and stuff, but it didn't need to be Banjo and Kazooie. It felt like you could have waited and done a proper Banjo and Kazooie game. Sorry.
No, that's fair. So, I mean, we'll move on then to kind of so this was the point by which Microsoft had bought them out, so now their games were appearing on Microsoft platforms. They had a couple of duds, but they also had one of the more fondly remembered Microsoft console IPs in Viva Pinata.
I loved Viva Pinata, right? It came out around the time the Wii U launched, right? And I was like, I'm not getting it. I'm getting the Wii U on launch. I can't justify both purchases. But then I was weak, and I bought both, and my Wii got neglected. My Wii got so badly neglected because of Viva Pinata being so cool. I even watched. I remember they put on the Xbox Live Store the first little and the TV show.
Oh, the TV show, yeah.
I watched that. It was quite amusing. I loved the whole deal. I got it on a shirt as well. At the end of the day, that was what I wanted from Rare. A colourful, fun game that some may see as childlike, but I see more as not just something light and different from all the shooters that were around at that time, and I really appreciated it.
So yeah, I feel. So for me, it's more of an awkward story because I didn't have a 360 when the first one came out, so I missed kind of that buzz.
You're a son of a.
I didn't get one till late '07, but this is the part where people comment me saying it wasn't out then. I don't know, whatever.
No, what? No.
I don't know. I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head.
And 06 is where the Wii launched, and I got Viva Pinata in before the Wii launched, so they was out then.
Okay, cool. So basically, I jumped in when Trouble in Paradise, I think that was the second one, came out.
Yeah.
So I didn't have experience with Viva Pinata, so at first I was like, I'm sort of getting to grips with it, and then I got invited to a game by one of my friends, and I was like, oh cool, fair enough, yeah, this game is co-op, you can maintain your gardens in co-op, that's cool. Jump into there, immediately get jumped forward 30 levels. I no longer have a clue about anything. There's these enemy pinatas jumping on my turf. There's 20 things I've not seen before. I've got 100 tutorial messages, and I'm just standing there going, what? I don't know anything anymore. What's happening? And I don't want to knock it, because it's still a fun game and all that, but I feel like that kind of soured my experience somewhat, because then when I went back to my garden, I had no clue anything I was doing anymore. So I feel like when I do get an Xbox One and get a chance to rare replay it, it'll be cool just to try and get my head around it a bit more. Because I love the aesthetic, I love the ideas of it, it's a really nice, charming game I could see myself sitting back on. Or even maybe getting my mother to try and give it a go and going you can probably manage this.
I think your mother will like it, but at the end of the day, what's the word? I think I'm kind of surprised. I do think that experience took away something you'd like. If I had to name a rare game that I like in the last few years, I'd definitely put that you would love in particular. I would have picked either the Viva Pinatas, to be honest. I just think they're so you.
As I say, this was also when I was still kind of getting used to the Xbox sensibilities. In my days of I'm no longer a Nintendo guy, I can be any guy I want.
Most of those Nintendo game on them.
Yeah, I guess,
Oh.
but like, I know because the thing I jumped to the Xbox for stuff like Portal, so yeah, I don't know, yeah. But yeah, I do want to give Viva Pinata another try in the future. Like, it's one of the ones I'd really like to check out, and I hope in the future they do make another one. Like, it surprises me they haven't done a Viva Pinata 3. I feel that would be cool. And then, of course, though, Rare had their. This was when Rare started going a bit. So.
Wow, that is a sound effect and a half.
It is a sound effect and a half. So, the Kinect came out. Microsoft's beloved system hardware that sold literally millions somehow. But they needed games for it, so obviously they cracked the whip at Rare, and we got Kinect Sports. I've not played Kinect Sports because I didn't own a Kinect. So, Laura, how much do you love Kinect Sports?
It was a bad. It's not Wii Sports, is it?
No.
I do not like Kinect Sports. No. Like, even if
Was
I'm
it a
like,
case of like? So was it a case of like it was an awkward launch game where they didn't really know what to do with it, or was it just like you didn't have fun playing?
It was just so average. Like,
Okay.
it just wasn't fun. Like, especially after how. Right, at the end of the day, I enjoyed Wii Sports. I'll put it out there. I did. It was fun. I don't care.
It's a good game. I'm not denying.
Yeah. But that's the thing. The thing is, it just didn't feel the same. It just felt like, oh, cool, we got Kinect, and we can make these actions to do a sports game. So we will. Here it is. Yay. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just kind of felt like, what was it bringing new to the table?
So you could kind of tell that it was a game they were forced to make more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, not maybe forced to make. I wouldn't like to say anyone was forced to make, but yeah.
Fair enough. So yeah, we got that for a couple of years, and then of course we finally started to see Rare come back to their old days a year or two ago. First off with Rare Replay, which is the first game I want to buy for my Xbox One. I think it's just a really cool idea of like 30 Rare games. Like, is there anything I've missed in this part that we've been talking about? Any Rare games I've missed that you really enjoyed that might have been in Rare Replay? Or have I managed to cover them all?
No, I can't think of any, because I don't think, I was going to say I don't think Connectimals is the only thing I was thinking of when you said Connect, but I don't think that was them. So that's, like, you know what I mean, that's the only thing I could, like, but, yeah, I think we've gone through all the big Rare titles.
Okay, cool. So I guess, like, that means now we look to the future, and we look to Sea of Thieves. I
still don't know this. This has been a few...
It's an interesting... Yeah, it looks fun in some regards, but I still don't 100% know what the game is.
That's fair. Because it was hard to know if it was online.
Yeah, because when we saw like the more advanced trailer, like, oh, here's a bunch of players on a ship attacking another bunch of players on a ship, and I'm like, that's cool. What's the actual game then? Is it like, is this the whole game, or is it more of an adventure where you can coincidentally do this, or?
Yeah, or is it like you really need to be on?
I mean, I have faith, because it seems more like Rare doing the game they want to do, as opposed to, we need something for this hardware, or we need something that fits this demo. So, I'm still kind of cautiously optimistic about it, but I hope at E3 that we see more, and we see, like, this is what Sea of Thieves is. Or if not at E3, at an event in the near future, because I think it's coming out this year, he says, looking at the page. 2017. So, yeah, you'd hope that this would be the year soonish that we kind of find out more information about it.
You'd hope so.
Yeah. So I guess...
I mean, if the more time goes on when you know about a game and you still don't know what it is, you do get a bit concerned. Like,
God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess to bring this kind of section to a close, I will just straight up ask, what is your favourite Rare game, Laura? Pick one.
Pick one. GoldenEye. Because at the end of the day, I loved it so much, and I ended up getting the remake. See what I did there?
No.
The remake on the Wii, and I've got still today. That's the golden classic controller I have.
Right. Yes.
But yeah.
Cool. For me, I can't say Conkers because I've not played it yet.
Well, it would be Viva Pinata if you'd played it personally.
I get the distinct feeling it would be Conkers if I played it, Laura.
Nah, I think it'd be Viva Pinata. I'm convinced.
Okay. So Laura's answer for me is Viva Pinata.
No.
My answer for me is it's Banjo-Kazooie. I love 3D platformers, and it's a great 3D platformer. Thumbs up. And yeah, and hey, maybe Yooka-Laylee will be better than it when I play it. Who knows? Are you gonna buy Yooka-Laylee? Do you reckon?
It's getting average reviews as we discussed.
Around 70.
Maybe if it goes cheap.
Maybe it goes cheap. Maybe if it's on Games with Gold or PS Plus.
Yeah, well, if it's just that, I'm not gonna say no.
But yeah, so on that note, that kind of brings us to the end. It's been another fun show. Squiggy will be back next week. He's having a lovely little nap now. He's had his fun time in America. He's watched all the wrestling. He's Disneyed all the Disney, and now he's like tucked up in bed, dreaming sweet American dreams. I'm probably crying that he can't just go down the street for 2 minutes and buy like 10 different American takeouts.
Oh my god, I forgot he could do that. Oh man.
That's like the one thing, like, I'm not a big eater, but like, I get the feeling if I went to America, I'd be like, man, there's lots of cool takeout here that I can try out.
And it'd also be the fact the portion size in America, because that is meant to be the thing.
Well, I'd eat small portions, because I know my body, I can't have big food. But yes, so our glorious Geordie saviour will be back next week, but until then, any closing comments, Laura? There you go.
I really like rare games.
Nice save. I've been Slazo, she's been Laura. We'll see you all next week. Bye bye, everybody.
Hey.